Listen carefully, I can only say this once. Every winter, the snow falls on the North Pole. A layer of ice accumulates. And then the spring comes, and there's some melting. And then another layer of snow falls the next winter. Year after year, layers of snow fall on the North Pole over a long period of time. These layers build up and get compressed into ice. Scientists can drill ice cores and extract ice layer upon layer in these cylindrical tubes of ice that they pull up. Could be 6 feet long, another one 6 feet long, and another one 6 feet long. And they can see evidence of what happened in the past. And one notable event that stands out as you examine these ice cores, going back thousands of years, is what is called the Younger Dryas, um, a period that where the temperature changed abruptly, a sudden abrupt change in temperature. Younger Dryas. Dryas is a flower that blooms in the tundra, and the pollen is trapped in these ice cores, and you can tell how much flowers, how much the amount of pollen, if it suddenly stops, then you know that well something has happened. It probably turned very cold, and for 1,000 years there was an absence of pollen from this flower called Dryas. This has probably happened more than once, and so this particular episode is referred to as the Younger Dryas, or YD, and it creates the YD boundary. And this is known as a sudden cold spell that happened as the Earth was warming up into the present interglacial episode. Before that, it was the glacial episode where ice built up, and now we've come to a time where the ice is pretty much this steady, but it melts a little bit and it grows a little bit. The ice sheet extended over North America and Siberia down to England. It was massive amount of ice about 12, 13, 14,000 years ago. This was known as the Ice Age. And now we are in an interglacial period, a period of 10,000 years where the Earth's climate has been very mild, very agreeable, very pleasant, and the ice has retreated substantially. And sea level, as a result, has risen 300 feet. All right, this is the Younger Dryas Boundary we're talking about here. About 12,800 years ago, something happened that may have triggered the Younger Dryas cool spell, and it also may have wiped out all of the megafauna, mastodons, saber-toothed tigers, even camels, large animals off of North America. There is what is called a platinum anomaly found in the ice cores at this level, at the YD boundary, Younger Dryas boundary, which may indicate an extraterrestrial impact of some type, probably a meteor. And I personally theorize that it hit the ice sheet, which was a mile thick, and did not leave a lasting crater in the earth below, in the rocks below. It made a crater in the ice, and the debris, large chunks of ice, boulders, various sizes, you know, uh, scattered across North America violently and uh, destroyed vegetation, trees, animals, people uh, within a certain radius. And beyond that radius, then they have some survivors. And then down into southern Florida, for example, you have plenty of survivors. If there was any people there, they would have lived through it. But they would have emerged into a world that was totally different, devoid of life, nothing to eat, and a cold spell that lasted for the next 1,000 years. The Younger Dryas Boundary Impact event. This is a hypothesis based on the available evidence. And the point is that if Salutrians, with their distinctive projectile points, spearheads, spear, mastodon, kill mastodon, huh, all right, you could kill a mastodon if you had a gang of 5 or 6 guys with spears, nicely made, distinctively made, expertly made projectile points hefted onto a spear shaft. You could throw this thing and you could pierce the skull of a mastodon, kill it, and you'd have food, food, food. You could easily feed the whole clan with this food. Well, apparently the people and the mastodons were wiped out by what may have been an asteroid that hit the Earth up around the Great Lakes and maybe up around north of the Great Lakes, wherever. And the point is that if there were Europeans over here at that time who had come ahead of the people from Siberia who came later across the Bering Land Bridge, the so called land bridge, which would have actually been an ice bridge. These people came later, but before that, the Solutarians came from Europe with their very distinctive projectile points, specializing in killing large game. These people were wiped out. So the first inhabitants, according to my theory, is that the original North American, Native American inhabitants were from Europe, what is now Europe, and they were wiped out by this meteor impact. Therefore, the Latinos today living in North America don't really have a prior claim to this continent because they did not arrive here first. And undoubtedly, all of the Salutrians, named after a town in France, Salutre, all of these people were not uh, killed, but some of them survived, and they probably got interbreeded in with the people from Siberia. That's my impact hypothesis. The Younger Dryas platinum anomaly. You find platinum in the ice cores and on land sediments right at the time when the so-called Clovis culture disappeared. The Clovis culture was not Siberians, but it was Europeans. I'm glad you were able to listen to all that.